Hi, my name is Sasha. Welcome back to Sash Reads. Now today I'm going to be wrapping up all the books that I read in January and February. Just because I realize it's now April. I haven't done a wrap up yet this year. My life's been kind of busy. I had a baby at the end of February. Leading up to the end of February, I just had lots of health problems, like a kidney infection, and then I got diagnosed with preeclampsia and cholestasis, and just my body's like, no more babies, please, Sasha. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, that's why I didn't do many videos at the start of the year. But now that Atlas is here and he's still a newborn, so he's still sleeping, I'm going to try and get as much content out as I possibly can. So for that, I'm going to be, yes, wrapping up January and February together. All up, I read 13 books. January I read 9. February I read 4. So yes, in January I read 9 books and I gave 2 5 stars, 5 4 stars, 1 3 star, 1 2 star. And then in February I read 2 5 stars and 2 4 stars. Can't really remember much about plot and things, but I'll give you what I vibed and how I felt. So let us just get into the books. Okay, so the first book I read in January, and the first book I read for the year, and it was a buddy read with Sean from Shiny Books, and that was Beach Read by Emily Henry. This is about August and I was going to say January. No, yeah, it is January. Yeah, January's father has died and he had this like beach house and she inherited it. So she's gone to like clean it out and sell it. And now January is an author. She writes books for a living. And it's coming up to the due date for the current book she's currently writing, except there's no book. She doesn't really have any ideas. So she's using this time to like clean out the beach house, as well as like a little getaway to just crack down and write this book. She meets her neighbor who she knew back from college, and he is also an author as well. He writes something different. January's a romance writer. He's like literary fiction. He's kind of in a little writing slump as well. So they kind of make a little challenge for each other and they start writing the other person's genre, basically. I really enjoyed this. I gave it 4 stars. It was like a nice fun read, and I really did enjoy the little aspect where they went interviewed. Yeah, because Gus was writing about this cult, I think. So he went and interviewed people who was actually like in a cult, I believe, or like something like that. I can't quite remember. It was at the start of January, guys. I do have a tab here, so let's find out what this tab actually is. Why did I tab that? I think I cut off 1 star because there was a little bit of miscommunication. Not really miscommunication, it was more he just withheld information and he just pissed off for a couple of weeks, and she's like, what happened? Like, what did I do? And I just hate that. I hate that so much. But other than that, yes, very good book. I'm excited to read more from Emily Henry. I then read a review copy of If I Never Met You by Bar McFarlane. This is a copy that I got from NetGalley a couple years ago now, and I'm like, I really need to start reading my NetGalley books. So there's that. I gave this book 2 stars. I was not a fan. What was it? It was Fake Dating, and I usually really love fake dating. Like, the female main character is black, right? The author's white. And there was just things that I'm like, you shouldn't be writing about this. I don't think that was executed well at all, and it just wasn't really good. Like, I think that's why most of the stars were taken off. I also just didn't really like the chemistry. Like, I didn't feel there was much chemistry between the 2 characters. Yes, that's all I can really remember about this book. I know it was not a good time. Not a good time at all. I then read The Girl Who Drank the Moon by Kelly Barnhill for Jan's book club, the Full Moon book club. It was a really fun middle grade. So it's about this village who sacrifices a baby every once in a while to like keep their village safe. They're worried about this witch in the woods that will come and kill them all, so they sacrifice the baby to the witch in the woods. Anyway, the witch in the woods finds this baby in the woods every couple of years, and she has no idea why, so she grabs the baby and takes it to a village on the other side of the woods and gives it to a family who needs a baby, basically. But while, like, to try to keep those babies alive, she usually feeds them starlight, but this one particular baby she accidentally feeds moonlight, and so she decides to keep that baby, own her mistakes sort of thing. There was a couple of things I liked about the book. It was so long ago, I'm so sorry guys. I felt like this book was like a sequel. Like, I felt like there was more of a story, like a backstory to be told. I didn't feel like I got much in the book. I really liked the cast of characters that was there. And all around, it was a really good middle grade novel. There was just some things that I'm like, where did that come from? I think we should have explored that more, or has that already been explored? I don't know. I then read Feed by Aveda Weiss, which is a erotic novella about a succubus and some sort of insect man. I enjoyed it. Like, the conversation between the two characters, like, it was snarky, and I love snarky. It was a fun read, that's for sure. And I think it was actually like a little prequel novella to an actual book exploring those two more. So I think I'm going to pick that up soon. And then for Sapphicathon, I read Han and Issue's Guide to Fake Dating. I gave this book 4 stars. This is a YA contemporary sapphic novel with fake dating in it. So all in all, ticked most of my boxes. Just I'm, like I always say, I feel like I'm too old to, like, I'm getting older. I'm not really enjoying YA contemporary books anymore, so I don't know why I keep picking them up. Anyway, this was still a fun read. I then read Always Being You by QB Tyler. Now, if I remember correctly, okay, so I read 2 books by QB Tyler, and I cannot remember which one was it. So I read Always Being You and I read Love Unexpected. One of them is a adopted brother-sister romance, and the other one is a stepdad-stepdaughter romance. So they're both very quite taboo, and I really enjoyed both of them. I cannot remember which is which though. Anyway, I did give both of them 4 stars. So they're both, like, yeah, if you like taboo romance, definitely check out QB Tyler. She does a really good job of them. And then in anticipation for Crescent City 2, I reread House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas. I gave it 5 stars. I forgot how good it was. I forgot how much it made me cry. Such a good book. I think that she is getting so much better at writing. Basically, any book she brings out is a masterpiece. And like I always say, I am Sarah J Maas trash, and I like it. I also read Empress of Souls and Fortune by Ni Vo. I gave this book 5 stars. It was a fun little read. And it's also a bit, like, fantastical too. Like, not in the fantasy sense, but in like a whimsical sense. I really liked the writing in this. I liked the way that, I don't really usually like flashback scenes, but the way that this flashback I thought was really fun. I listened to it on audio. So please excuse me if I cannot remember much at all. I just know I remember the feeling it gave me, and it gave me really good feelings, that's all. And I just couldn't wait to pick it up again. So I definitely want to try and get my own copy for this to reread it, because I definitely think it's a rereadable book. And then in February, the first book I read was The Doctor by Nikki Sloan. This is a ex-boyfriend's dad romance. If you have read Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas and Your Dad Will Do by Katie Robert, The Doctor is a really good mix of both of them. So you've got like the plot from Birthday Girl, and you've also got the smut from Your Dad Will Do. I then read Claimed by Cupid by Dana Izeli, which is the sequel to Dips in Holly. So it's focusing on Nick and Holly again, but it's around Valentine's Day, and I just love those two characters, and I cannot wait to read more about them. They're just so fun and they're sexy, and this particular book has a restaurant vibrating undie scenes. So like if you're like into that, like I love those sort of scenes so much. Like it was just so good. Like definitely grab that. I then read House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J Maas, and this was chef's kiss, 5 out of 5 stars. The whole book, I was just wanting more. Like, you know, in House of Earth and Blood, the middle bit is just a bit like, come on, like pick it up. Oh, I have them here. Why am I holding them? I'm not holding them up, my bad. House of Sky and Breath, I loved how there was more point of views. Like you've got Rune. Oh, I love Rune. I'm loving Rune so much more. He was a bit iffy for me in the first book, but the second book definitely yes. I love him. I love Hunt and Bryce. I really thought that they weren't endgame, but this book definitely tells you otherwise. You have new characters, you've got new plot twists, you've got the oh my god what the fuck ending that is just all a Sarah J Maas middle book that you need. And it was just, I don't know how I'm going to wait 18 months for next book. Like I'm gonna have to, and you know it's gonna be pushed back again because this book was pushed back so many times. I really enjoyed it. I probably will reread it soon just because I feel like I missed so much, but also because like I read it in like 3 days. And just also Bryce like trying, like figuring out her new power level and things like that. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna stop talking about it because I don't know what I'm talking about. And then the last book I read in February was Wahala by Nikki May. This was also a buddy read with Shan from Shani and Books. This is about 3 Anglo-Nigerian girls, or women basically, who live in London. They're like best friends. And they're all just living life. Runki wants a husband. Boo endures stay-at-home motherhood, and Simi has full of fashion career dreams, rolls her eyes as her boss refers to her urban vibe yet again. In comes Isabel, who I believe is, I can't remember, I think she's a friend from Simi's past. Yeah, she's a friend from Simi's past, and she kind of like weaves her way into this fan group, and she's trying to break it up basically. And it was, I really enjoyed this read. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Just the way it also spoke about like racism, and like it spoke about racism but not in like the hate you give sense. Like this was about three women just living their lives, like 3 black women living their lives, and it was such a good read. And yeah, like there was a bit of a like a mystery thriller aspect to it that I did not know was going to happen at all, so that was fun. I will definitely be picking up more by Nikki May. This was a beautiful debut and you should all go pick it up. Those are the 13 books that I read in January and February of this year. Let me know what you read and what your favorite book you read in those months. For me, favorite books I read in January, House of Earth and Blood. Favorite book I read in February was House of Sky and Breath. They're just such good books and I love them so much. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more from me. If you want to check me out on Instagram or Goodreads, you can. I'm at Sasha Reads for both of them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye!